Last month, we started a new thingamabob. And that
Thingamabob.
thingamabob was to look at the coolest photo gear from the previous month. In a thingamabob we called the 5 coolest pieces of photo gear from that month. Sarah, it was so successful. It was kind of a viral sensation,
Off the charts.
off the charts, so much so that I totally made that up. There was almost no buzz about it.
But we need to be clear that these are not the best pieces of gear, right,
No,
Alan? This is just what we think are awesome.
it's just the coolest
The
pieces
coolest,
of
yeah.
gear.
Exactly.
And what's cool to me isn't cool to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, so
But take us into the
let,
five.
let's go into the 5, starting with, and I always have to look at it because there's so many little letters and stuff in this thing. So Sigma, the 50 millimeter f1.4 DGHSM. Sigma started this whole new line of lenses called the Art series. And, back when I was a kid, and I've said this before, I think multiple times on multiple podcasts, Sigma didn't have a good reputation as a lens manufacturer when I was a kid. It was like Sigma and Tamron were what you got when you couldn't afford Nikon, Olympus, or Canon. It was kind of like the poor man's version. Optics were meh,
Yeah,
but they
Sigma
got
was
their,
my first
yeah,
lens.
yeah,
Yeah,
see?
yeah.
But they've got their act together in the past couple years, and they came out with this art line. The first lens was a 35 millimeter 1.4, which I'm testing out right now through the graciousness of Sigma. But this 50 millimeter lens has been testing off the charts, and the quality of this lens apparently is only second to the Zeiss Otis lens, which costs like $3,500. So for $950, you can get this Sigma lens, which outperforms the Canon counterpart and the Nikon counterpart. Um, the only thing is that it's a big honking piece of glass and plastic.
Mm. Now, when they talk about the art series, like the Sigma art series for these
Yeah.
lenses, are they trying to market it to fine art photographers? Do you know why it's that
And no, I don't
name?
think it's. I think they're just saying like these are artfully designed
Okay, all right,
lenses. Yeah, I
got
don't know that. I don't know. I made that up. I will ask them about that so you can
it.
you can learn.
You need to clarify that. Okay.
But I will say, having been testing out the 35 millimeter, that guy is sharp and it's fast and it's fun, and I would actually consider purchasing that lens because it's cheaper than the Nikon version.
The 35 or the 50?
The 35.
The 35.
50 for me is a little too. It's not wide enough for my brain, but 35 is great. And
Nice.
1.4, come on, 1.4.
And is the 35 less clunky than the 50?
They're big lenses. They're
Okay,
big lenses.
got
What
it.
can you do? 1.4. The second coolest piece of gear is the Sony CyberShot digital camera RX100 Mark III. Let me tell you something about Sony. I kind of I kind of have a little crush on Sony because they've been doing good work.
Yeah.
And you've heard me talk about my RX1
Yep, yep.
more
You wrote
than
a great
once.
review
Maybe,
on that.
yeah, I might talk about it every single podcast.
Maybe
Uh,
so.
Well, JBA, who works at our office, he's one of the co-founders of PhotoShelter. He and I went to Tokyo 2 years ago, and he took the Mark I version of this camera. It's tiny. It's a great pocketable camera. So now they're up to Mark III. The thing has a pop-up electronic viewfinder, so you don't have to just look at the back of the camera. It still has a pop-up flash. It's still tiny. It's got an even better sensor than before. It's totally usable up to 1600. Then, like any compact camera, it starts to break apart a little bit. But 1600, you're good unless you're like in candlelight. And then, of course, you have the flash. This is a great little camera. I mean, $800 is not cheap for a point-and-shoot camera, but Sarah, you might want to add this to the arsenal instead of just the iPhone.
I know. I only do point and shoot with my iPhone. It's true. And my 4S. It's not even a 5.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh, I know. I know. Yeah, no, this looks amazing, and I mean, Zeiss, great,
Zeiss.
great name, great quality. So,
They design the lens. They do not manufacture the lenses for Sony, but they design the lenses for Sony.
oh, got it.
So
Okay.
it's almost as good as having a Zeiss lens. But hey, you know what? I'm so happy to see Sony has had a couple rough decades, and I'm so happy to see Sony kind of kick butt in
Mm.
photography and really challenge the incumbents of Nikon and Canon. I think it's just good for photography and good for photographers. There you go. Here is number 3 on the list. It's the Metacon 50mm f/0.95 Speedmaster. Okay,
0.95. Wow.
what lens do you have for your 50mm? Do you have a 50mm?
No.
Okay, well I have a 50mm and it's an f1.8.
Okay.
F1.8. I don't know, I think it cost me like $250 or $300. I don't know. And then I have a macro one that I got used at Adorama for like $200, which is like a f2 because it's a macro lens. Well, this is a f/0.95. I think it's like a stop or 2/3 of a stop faster than an f1.4. It's a fast lens. So when we talk about cool, well, it's not getting the best reviews optically because I don't know. I think it's like $500 or $600. It's not an expensive lens, but it gets a lot of light. I'm sure at f/0.95, your depth of field is, half an inch, depending on how close your subject is. It's not going to be easy to focus,
No.
but
Yeah, you don't want to have that all the way open.
if you're taking a portrait of someone and you really want to isolate them against the background, this is a little cool tool to have in your arsenal, maybe. I don't know.
Hmm.
Eh, it's not on your cool list, is what you're saying?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, Stanley Kubrick did use an f/0.95 lens for filming some of his cameras, and that guy was cool.
That guy was very cool.
He
That's
was cool.
true.
He was also a little weird. Okay, well, this number 4 is definitely going to blow you away as being super cool. Adidas will soon print your Instagram photos onto your sneakers.
Oh man, I need to rethink my Instagram game.
Rethink your definition of cool too. So let me explain to you, if you're listening on the iTunes podcast, let me explain to you what we're looking at right here. It is a large photo of a hamburger with the content spilling out of it. That's the background of the image here. And then in the foreground, it's a dude carrying Adidas shoes with that same image printed on the shoe.
I'm still confused why they chose such an ugly photo to promote this with.
People love burgers.
They do. That's true. I do too.
Apparently, there's an app coming out for this, the photo print app for the ZX Flux shoe. Hold on, there's another one here. Maybe these are a little more your style.
The cherry
These are
blossoms.
cherry blossoms.
I'm into this. That's nice.
Sarah, what would you put on your Adidas ZX Flux Instagram shoe?
Let's see. Okay, I recently shot on Instax the entire PhotoShelter staff, and then Todd took a digital picture of all the Instax piled up, and then I put that on Instagram. So this is getting kind of meta, but then I would put that on a shoe. That would look pretty rad.
And then would you Instagram the shoe again?
Absolutely, 100%. I'd Instagram the shoe. It would just be a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, you could keep making shoes out of the Instagram of shoes.
Exactly.
Endless mirror. What did you use all those Instax photos for?
So we just relaunched PhotoShelter.com, and it looks incredibly beautiful, and we have a great new About page that tells you all about the people who work here and our teams. It's really awesome. Check it out, PhotoShelter.com/about, to find out all about us and stalk us all.
I actually knew that because
Oh.
because I'm the co-founder of PhotoShelter. That's what we refer to that as a softball in the biz.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, good. Thanks.
The last of the coolest gear for May is this little guy. It's the Lomo Instant camera. You were just talking about the Fuji Instax camera. This is the Lomo version of it. Lomography is like a real company with real stores and real products, and they decided it's time for us to make our version of the Fuji Instax called the Lomo Instant. So they have a Kickstarter project. Look at this. The goal was $100,000, and with still 20 days to go, they've raised $763,501 for this thing.
That's brilliant.
That's pretty amazing. People love Lomo.
They
And
do.
here's the thing too, because it's a real company, they've actually already designed the cameras. They've designed the cameras, they've designed these add-on lenses, they've designed these add-on filters. And I think they're using the proceeds to just build all the dies and the machine cutting things. And there are all these different colors.
Yeah, you can get the camera, you can customize the camera, which is really cute.
That's totally cool. And look, $35 gets you the camera.
Good price. Good price point.
Because how much is the Instax? It can't be cheaper than $35.
The film? Oh, the
Yeah,
camera.
no, the actual Instax camera. I don't think it's cheaper than $35.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
What I do know is the film is not cheap, that instant film.
Yeah, it's not super cheap. No. But
That's
you got to be
really-
careful about what you're shooting with it, you know? You got to be making a lot of decisions. Not like with Instagram, where you can just snap everything and then put it on a shoe. So.
We talked about that Fuji Instax remote printer, the SP1, a couple weeks ago. And I had a brief conversation with Chris O'Young from our office, who also shoots a lot of concert photography stuff and is a big fan of Instax. He actually wired up one of our Instax cameras with a hot shoe with the help of Mark Yoon, who's one of our lead programmers and also an electrical engineering major. And I said to Chris, I was like, doesn't this, as much as I love it, it seems like a little bit of a gimmick, because we've had instant cameras for years and years and years. And he goes, yeah, that's true, but the only thing is, like, with the cost of the film, the problem with the instant camera is you don't get to pick what you want to print. It's like you take the photo, you look at it, it might be crappy, etc. But he said with the iPhone, you can take a bunch of photos and then decide that this is the one you want to print, and then give it to the artist or give it to the person, have them sign it, take an Instagram of it, have the meta thing continue.
That's a very good point. I had a wedding photographer this week ask me which one should I get. Should I get the printer or the camera? And I actually suggested the camera because I had to let you print out one of my images, and I didn't think it looked that good.
Didn't look that good.
It didn't look that great. And I told him that. I said, you know, I've tried both. I prefer the actual camera. I think you should go with the camera and not the printer. But Chris makes a great point where you can edit down and print out what you want with the printer. So
yeah, I just think that the image quality wasn't that great. It seemed a little bit too undersaturated.
it
Or
was.
maybe
It
it was
was
just-
pale.
it was pale, right?
undersaturated and pale. Yeah, the colors did not come through.
And especially when you compare it to what you see on your phone, which of course is like this brilliant, bright screen with Retina display and
Right, being illuminated at you. Yeah.
so that's our coolest gear for May. You thought maybe one of them. You liked Lomo.
Yeah, I like the
Lomo
Lomo.
Instant.
Yeah, I might donate